Hi, everybody. Ron Placone here. You're watching another summary from the Indie Bohemians morning show. And something we talked about a good bit today was the case going on here in the United States. A 31-year-old Navy serviceman who's being treated for internet addiction. This is due to the way he used his Google Glass. He would have the item on for 18 hours a day. He only took it off to shower and to go to sleep. And he's being treated for actual internet addiction. Now, I have a few responses. So, of course, our question is internet addiction real, and how real is it? Few thoughts. I mean, first of all, reasons why I'm skeptical to start off, they compared it to alcohol addiction and stuff like that. I don't really know how accurate of an analogy I feel that is. I mean, I've never dealt with alcohol addiction myself, so I can't speak firsthand. But I know that, when you are consuming so much alcohol, your body comes to depend on, certain things in the alcohol, certain sugar levels and so forth. And to be deprived of that has some consequences, and it thus becomes a very serious physical addiction. Now, so I don't really know if I think that's a great parallel to draw, because I don't think that there's physical implications that severe, or any physical implications possibly to internet quote addiction. Also, I mean, some of the symptoms, apparently when the guy didn't have the Google Glass on, he was argumentative and irritated. I mean, well, maybe he's just not a big fan of people, and when he had this on, he wasn't around them. So there's a few things where it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm buying this. On the other hand, this isn't the first case of internet addiction being talked about. It's not like this is a total anomaly. He did show other withdrawal symptoms. And, even though I'm not a huge fan of the analogy, there was a point in time where people didn't think that alcohol addiction was a real thing. So, there's reasons to be like, well, maybe there's something going on here. Also, psychological addiction can be very strong as well. And of course, I think internet addiction would fall into a psychological addiction, not necessarily a physical addiction, which I guess gets into, well, how does one define addiction? What does it really mean? But it's interesting that this item caused somebody. One thing he complained about, he was dreaming as if he was still looking through the glass. And another interesting point here, he was given it for his job. So this might be one of those situations where maybe the Google Glass just really was not for this guy, but he had to use it for whatever other reason. But nonetheless, when you hear about stories like this, we live in a society where when it comes to technological advancements through entertainment and stuff like that, we're really doing great, right? I mean, the latest iPhone is always coming out, the latest smartphone, the latest Android, the Google Glass is out now. We're really doing pretty good, and it's impossible to keep up with. Meanwhile, we don't have everybody in an electric car yet. We're still using oil to fuel our cars. We still haven't gotten further when it comes to that. It's very lopsided, and of course that's because everybody's flocking to buy the new iPhone. On the other side, there's a lot of people that are still getting very, very rich from our energy policy, or perhaps lack thereof. But it kind of makes you wish we could just take a pause, be like, hey, we're going to take a pause. The iPhone 6 is great. We can have it for a little while longer. I'm sure the latest Android is great too. I don't know. I don't have that. I'm an iPhone 6 guy, but I'm sure whatever it is, they're pretty good. They can keep us substantial for a while. We don't need to go any further, and we can just sort of invest in maybe getting people, off of oils and stuff like that, and into either solar powered cars or something similar to that nature. But here's wishful thinking, but nonetheless, I don't know. So to answer the question straight up, I mean, I do think it can be addiction, but I'm quick to say internet addiction would be, as far as we know so far, a psychological addiction. And I do think that's something that people are guilty of. I mean, I know a lot of people, when they go on vacation, they have to completely unplug. They cannot bring a laptop or a phone with them, because if they do, they will just work the whole time. I myself am kind of like that in a lot of ways. There are a lot of times where I'll go on trips. If it's not for business or whatever, I will try to leave my computer. I will try to, I mean, I'll usually have my phone no matter what, but my computer, like my laptop, I will try to leave because I know if I don't, I'll end up just doing work-related stuff, sending emails or making a video or doing some kind of a content thing. And if I want to really unplug from that in a literal sense, I need to actually not have it there. So I guess one could argue that to some degree is an addiction, and I think that's very common in our society. So, you know, leave your comments below. What do you think? Is it a real thing? Is it not a real thing? Can it be a real thing? Is it as simple as if you can't stay away from the laptop to start doing stuff, you have an issue, or does it have to be more substantial than that? You've been watching another summary from the Indie Bohemians Morning Show. Thanks for tuning in, and this is Ron Placone signing out.